What's going on, everyone? Lockie from Outback Tourer. Now, we would get this question, I would say, 3 times a day at least, and we've been explaining it through photos the entire time. It can be a little tricky, so we just want to take the time today to explain exactly how to fit any of our rooftop tents to a Rhino rack. Now, this is the way that keeps it the lowest way possible. It does involve drilling the rack. It is super simple. It's only 8 holes. We'll run through that in a minute. Now, Rhino and other brands do make adapter brackets. We'll put a little bit of a photo below. Those brackets we haven't opted to use this time because, like I said, we wanted it low. And by the time you do use those brackets, it does make the tent sit up about 70 mil. So we do want to keep this one nice and low, and that is the way we're going to explain it. Now, first step, grab from our tool selection. These are the only tools we need for this install. We want to go down and measure the mounting rails underneath the tent. Now, all the mounting rail dimensions are on our website, but even though they're on the website, these are, at the end of the day, a handmade product. So sometimes there are 1 to 7 millimeter discrepancies. So you just want to measure your exact tent. And we want to measure a center line. So this is the OT 1.2. So we'll hold that center, and I can see about 703 millimeters. And then, as I said, handmade product. We want to go to the other side of the tent and do the exact same thing, just in case we're at 703 one end, but we might be 707 the other end, and it's slightly tapered. And that'll be important when we drill these holes. We want to make sure that we're going to get the holes in the right spot, otherwise it's going to be a bit tricky to fit it. So without further ado, we'll jump up top and show you what the next step is. Rightio, next step, obviously relocate yourself to the platform. Make sure you're safe when you're getting up here, obviously. Now, the mounting rails we just talked about, they run the same length on a Rhino rack as these slats on top. Now, what that means is they're gonna land right on a plank, which makes fitting up, which fits the tents, difficult to fit up. They go sort of under like that on the bottom. Now, you might be thinking, why don't you move the rails on the tent to fit in a gap like this? Now, a couple of reasons. So reason one, every platform actually has a different orientation. Like a Prado's a bit skinnier than a 200 series. There's discrepancies between what version Rhino rack you have, but most importantly, if you measure between these two gaps, that's only a 475 mil gap. Now, that's not far enough apart for a rooftop tent. It needs to be between 700 and 800. And in this instance, like we measured before, we're at 700. So step one, find the center point of the rack. That's pretty easy. You can just go from end to end, divide by 2. That's your center point. I've already got a pen here and put my center point mark. And then from there, all we have to do is measure out halfway. So we were 703, so I'll split the difference there. Put my tape right on the center. And then we want to give ourselves a line. And then from there, all we're going to do is put our bracket over that line in the center and mark with a pen on each side. There and there, because that's where our bolts are going to pass through. All right, I've gone and marked that center line. Got my two holes there, so holes marked out. That's where we're going to end up. Now, it's an aluminium rack, so it's not going to rust. Good practice. We will, after this, we'll get an air compressor and blow all the swarf off the roof and just make sure we get it out of all the channels and everything. We don't, even though it's aluminium, we don't want that sitting around, so we will do that. Drill bit size, I'm going to start with a 6 mil. And then I'm going to move up to a 10 mil. Now, the bolts are 8 mil, so you could use an 8.5, but when we're trying to maneuver this, if my drill is slightly a mil or 2 out, it will make putting the bolts through a little bit difficult, so it pays just to go a size up, which is why we'll be doing the 10. Sure, you don't drill through your roof, so. So last step, this is my little trick. I'm just using a bit of timber, but if you got a bit of aluminium or steel or something hanging around, then you can do this. But just sort of lift the tent up like that, and now we can use that to lever it, get these little bolts in, and then we're just going to be dropping those through the holes we made in the rack. So I'll get all these in, and then we'll get a shot from underneath of what that looks like. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and tightened all these bolts up, but we'll swing the camera under there and you'll be able to see what's happened. Now, try and get someone with smaller arms to go under there. It is a bit tight, but yeah, you will get it. You just need to be a bit patient with it. But we'll get that camera up there and show you what I'm talking about. So those bolts have dropped through the Rhino rack. You can see the pass through up in there, hopefully. That camera will focus. And then, yeah, you just need to get some anti-seize on those bolts and tighten them up. And that is how we attach the Rhino racks. So, as always, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, let us know.